too broke to die. In our culture, there's a lot of us that's just literally too broke to die. Dying is a huge burden on our families. Insurance policies is literally the last thing on our minds. Okay, whether they offer it to you at work, whether you need to go get some outside of work, whatever you need to do, that's an important thing. But in the culture, we just don't care nothing about it. And then we beg and ask for GoFundMe's, at the last minute when the baby dead, or the sibling dead, or the mother, the parent, the father dead, and in light of the fact that, I lost my brother-in-law last year, your brother, we dealt with some of these issues.
We did.
It's been a little time past, and we wanted to touch on that topic. What do you think about being too broke to even die?
I think it happens too often in the Black community. I'm pretty sure all race deal with not having the insurance and stuff, but we see it so much in our community where we're not thinking ahead, we're not planning ahead. So many people are living for the now. So you have them with these cars and these rims and they're showing their money, but don't even have a life insurance. I feel equipped to be able to speak on it because I had a brother who, we just didn't see it coming. It was unexpected. I know one thing that my mom said was like, I meant to get it on him. I was thinking about I wanted, but she procrastinated. And then, because she thought she had time, you know what I'm saying? So, no, you have to go ahead and do it now.
I think that's one of the biggest things right there. Procrastination and assumption. So I'm going to procrastinate off the assumption that I have time, that Little Major's just 18, that Carol's only 13, that Braxton and CJ are 21 and 22. You see, and so it seems like you got time because, I just said some really low numbers. And while the numbers are low, guess what other numbers are low? The insurance policy monthly costs are lower.
When you go ahead and get it now.
Because
you don't know, especially in this day and time, so many people are dying so young. I know in our surrounding area, there have been so many people who have lost children or a loved one that's up under the age of 20. It's hard to keep count. There's been so many who have lost a loved one. So you're not expecting it. So it is wise to go ahead and get insurance while the person is young. And then, be in a position. And most of the time, I think that's what it is. It's not that we're not in position because most people are working. Like I said, they're flashy. They're showing this and that. They're just not using wisdom and planning for the future.
You in a Hellcat with your jewelry on, but your 5-6-year-old don't got no life insurance policy. Yeah. It's going on all the time. And as a parent, I don't want to be caught up in that right there. I want to be able to grieve in peace. I don't want the burden of a GoFundMe because, shout out to QC. Shout out to everybody locally, nationally. Shout out to everybody who's lost a loved one. There's like 50 and under. Because understand that's a low number. That 50 is pretty young.
Yeah, it is.
50 is pretty young. And people losing their parents and everything like that. Like, for me, I feel like I should have life insurance policy on myself, in both of my children's name in some type of form or fashion with a split or something like that. If that's all I can afford, if I can't afford to get each of them their own policies, at least I can afford one policy and a split between, two beneficiaries. And so to me, that would make sense. But I done watched so many older people die. And I thought they might have knew something, but they didn't know nothing.
And the burden of it. One thing you said was a burden, right? I'm
talking about the burden of the fact that if I die, and right now, and I don't leave anything for you, the children, nothing, you can't even mourn in peace. You can't grieve in peace. Because you don't got nothing. You too worried about trying to get me in the ground and give me a headstone. You see what I'm saying? And the rent didn't change. The light bill didn't change. None of the bills didn't change. The Christmas season didn't change. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I'm a burden if I die right now uninsured.
I think it's more than just that. Like, we have seen where people, not only with the GoFundMe, but they have so many different ones when they're not, when the family is not together, they're not in unison. They're not, what I'm saying, working together. So you have so many different ones. And then the people on the outside is like, well, what do I give to? You see them going back and forth. I mean, but speaking of my situation, we had people to do fundraisers that we didn't even ask them to, and then got offended when we asked, hey, how much did you raise to help bury? They got offended. So you got all that. That's extra burden. That's extra stress. You don't need all of that to eliminate it all. You know what I'm saying? You just want to be able to bury them in peace. Get them in the ground, whether it's enough money in the policy to be left over or not. You just want to be able to bury people in peace. I mean, that's just the key of it.
What you speaking on is discord.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
that brings about a discord because normally how long does a body sit? 7 days tops. Now
Depend on race.
Depend on race. The numbers are pretty low. Nationally, the numbers are 42%. So 42% of all Americans are insured, and 53% of African Americans are insured. So that leaves 47% on the outskirts of African Americans who already only make up 13% of the nation. You see what I'm saying? But it's just about 39 million to 40 million, and you subtract half of it. So you got like 20 million people, black people in the culture uninsured.
And we got to do better with that. We need to start making life insurance policy a priority. Having your children, yourself, if nothing more, at least yourself and your children insured. But if you can, and you're fortunate and blessed enough, get your parents insured. Get your, what I'm saying, your other family members, close loved ones insured if you're able. But if not, at least yourself and your children. Because we see it too often where people are having to do these GoFundMes. And that right there is heavy on the family as well, because a lot of families have pride. A lot of family don't want to, a lot of people have issues with asking for help. And that's asking for help, but you have to do what you have to do. So why not do it and use wisdom ahead of time where you don't have to ask?
I mean, I would imagine that it would be embarrassing. And another thing about these policies, some of the older generations in the culture, they don't want. If you ask them to get an insurance policy on them, hey, great grandmama, if you go ask your great grandmama, which now would be a 28-year-old, just they regular grandmother. If you ask your grandmama, great grandmama, can I get an insurance policy on you? And she'll say, no, you trying to push me in the grave, ain't you? What's going on?
Yeah, they be offended.
You see what I'm saying?
The lack of knowledge.
Well, no, I think as godly as the culture claim they is, I think we very, very superstitious.
I think it ain't as godly as it used to be. And it's this new day, new cultural, new grandparents, new great grandparents. It's not like it used to be. That's another subject, another topic for another day, but I don't think it is. So yeah, there's a lot of superstition. There's a lot of universe praying people, all that type of spiritual woke the stuff going on. So yeah, they will be offended instead of using wisdom.
My great grandmother left something for her children and her children's children, which would be my uncles and aunts and my grandfather. She was a wonderful lady. My grandmother on my mother's side left something for her children and her children's children. Even though I didn't even get to have a relationship with her like I would like to, shout out grandma on mama's side. But I think you're just supposed to do that. It's godly. It's actually in the Bible. Okay? If you can't bury your own, man, my God. You feel me?
Yeah, and then speaking of burying and loved ones, I mean, to me, when it comes to death, you're already dealing with a lot. You're dealing with a lot of emotions. You're dealing with a lot of stress. You're dealing with a lot of grieving from everyone who has dealt with it. So to kind of speak on that part of it, you want to eliminate as much as you can. And a lot of people on the outside, we're not talking about blood relatives, but I'm talking about people on the outside like to say stuff like, oh, I would have supported if, you know what I'm saying, if you didn't do this, or if you went over there, or I thought this. You cannot speak on people. You cannot speak on people relationships. You cannot speak on what was going on with them. And I just kind of wanted to touch that. You can't speak on what was going on, how somebody's supposed to grieve, what they had going on, what their prayers, what their relationships was. If you want to support them, because regardless, that's their blood relative, not yours. So it's going to affect them differently. It's going to hit differently, despite what you thought, think, or said it is with you and that loved one. And I just kind of wanted to touch that.
Are you saying giving with condition to what I think?
And the reason,
But that's, I apologize. That's not honest anyway. That's not honest giving anyway. That's not pure anyway.
yeah,
You shouldn't give. You should not give if you feel that I was gonna give, but this right here. Don't let nobody sway you to give. Don't give a dime, okay? Because your motives are horrible.
yeah.
You see, your motives are horrible. If I needed to love Andrew a certain type of way for you to give me something, I mean, if something weird happened, God forbid, of course, what I'm saying, let's take that out of the universe. But, I mean, don't give it. Drew definitely wouldn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Plus, I'm sure he's super duper insured like 3 or 4 times over, so.
But you did. I mean, people do. And I can say that because there were so many that reached out to my mother saying, I wanted to come and show my condolences. I wanted to support you, but I don't really support, you being over this family member house or your daughter house or this and that. And I'm like, if you wanted to support, you would have supported. It's no condition. It's no but. And you definitely cannot speak on someone's relationship. In this time, especially with the holidays coming. You got Thanksgiving coming up. You have December, where Christmas is coming up. People have lost loved ones. You cannot say how they're supposed to grieve, how there is going to affect them with the holidays, how the love that they had or anything. Just pray for, if you want to support, the easiest way that you can support someone is pray if you have a relationship with God. If you don't, then if your heart is not in the right place, don't give. Just keep your distance. Don't speak on things you don't know what you're talking about.
Another thing that I noticed brings discord during death, life insurance policy or not, is, I remember when I was younger, and I don't know whether it was my aunt or my uncle, both had weird little illnesses. And I remember family, I was hearing, because I was a kid, but I was hearing that they were saying that family was going over there taking things that wasn't assigned to them, or it wasn't cool with some other sibling for them to take. Stuff like that. The late great Bishop A.C. Strong died, and I went and got a pair of shoes, and Grandma said I could get them, and it was cool. So I went down the right avenue to get the shoes from Granddaddy, so I wouldn't have beef with nobody. Cause I ain't want no smoke. I was only a kid at that time. Unc them beat me up. I didn't want no smoke. But taking things after death that have sentimental value to people, and or might have some financial, gain to them. Maybe you could sell it or something. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that bring huge discord.
It does. And because death can bring discord, because it is stressful, because it's unexpected in most cases and it hurt, that's why it's important to kind of wrap it back to the insurance. Because even from that perspective, I can speak on my aunt. I think we was in the beginning of our relationship, but my aunt passed. And as discord as it was, she left her insurance policy with her children. They did what they wanted to, even though we disagreed with it. But at the end of the day, it took the pressure off the family because we didn't have to worry about her being buried. We have a grave that we can go visit her at. You know what I'm saying? We was able to have her memorial. So as much as so much death brings, I'm just saying insurance does help take away the biggest stress was getting them in the ground.
I agree with that. I just think no insurance policy, the discord from 2 aunties or 2 sisters beefing over mama leather jacket. I think that happens in families.
It does.
Insurance policy, no insurance policy during death. I know I'm kind of getting off the subject of the policies, but I just think that during death, everybody should find a way to have some kind of peace, or to
Yeah.
grieve in peace.
Yes.
You know
I
what I'm saying?
agree.
But I can't grieve in peace if something happened and then Drew and Kiva want to take something that was sentimental value to me from mama. So that's why I get with mama now and be like, mama, I want this, that, and the third, and make sure everything Gucci, you know what I'm saying, when it's time for me to get there. So I won't have no issues with my siblings. You see,
Well,
get stuff like that straight now.
get things in order.
Because I promise mama got to go.
Get
You
things
know?
in order, set wheels. That's another thing we don't do as a culture. We don't write our wheels out of what we want to have happen. I know when I pass, I'm going to be very detailed on exactly what I want.
I think my mother said that a wheel is from $400 to $700. I think you can get it done even cheaper than that. I'm sure they got some online joint, but she was talking about straight from the lawyer's office. I think it's like $400 to $700, and it's gonna go by exactly what you said. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if the will, the person who issues the will also would have the insurance policies as well, because they put all that together. Hey, I don't got knowledge. I need to get more, you know what I'm saying, understanding about that subject right there about wills. I need to get a will. I don't got a will because, like I said, I think I got time. I'm assuming that I got time at 40 years old, but I've watched men die much younger.
All I'm saying is when we transition over, we want to make it as easy for the living members as possible. At least that's my goal. I want to make it as easy. So if that includes a will telling you exactly what needs to do, what's left to who, the money to bury me, so you can have a easy to be put to have peace during that time.
I think that's the easiest way.
To be able to, and it's so hard. And even if you do the GoFundMe, it's even hard. Like I was just looking, it's a situation going on in our hometown where there's so many GoFundMes. It's like, who do I give to? Which one is real? They beefing over here about this one. They doing this. It's so when death happens, the discord needs to stop. We need to make it as an easy transition as possible. And we got to do better as people of setting insurance policy, if nothing else.
And man, you don't want to be 25 years old and you're Hellcat and still be too broke to die.
That part.
You feel me? You don't want to be my age, thinking you got it all together and everything going your way, but you too broke to die. Mm-hmm. You feel me? It couldn't be. Well, I mean, it's something that we just set to the side and don't think about at all.
And it's not that
and
expensive.
I get it.
If you start young, like one thing I know their mother told me when I had my grandbaby said, tell your son to go ahead and get insurance on them. Because if you start young and building it, it doesn't be expensive. It's when you start older, they're older, the sickness, health issues, whatever. Most people are not in the best of health by the time, they decide to give the insurance on people.
And then you can pass that policy down to that child when that child gets of age and or to the maturity level, financial status, the ability to afford it. Mama, please don't turn my insurance policy over to me. I don't want it. Thanks. For real. Keep doing your thing. Yeah. But that's really all I got on being uninsured in the Black community, and actually how important it is and how we just completely neglect to do it.
Yes.
But I think maybe like $10 a month, over 12 months is $120. People pay more for tennis shoes than annual life insurance policy. Now, I'm sure that the cheaper policies, it's whole life, and what is term life? What term life from a 15-year policy or some joint like that? Yeah, and you want whole life, right? That's what the folk with a couple extra dollars get right there.
You want something that's going to cover the whole time. It doesn't have to be renewed after a certain time. You can just keep this same price,
and it'll keep the same, the same value without any stipulation changing.
That part.
Yeah, I want whole life, but I take term life right now today. Term cheaper.
It is. Term is cheaper. and you can go higher with it, but it's only going to cover for
Yeah.
that period.
Can you cash both of them out? You
What
can
you
cash
mean?
term or whole out? No, I'm saying, okay, term, I mean, well, grandma done paid for a whole, for your insurance policy. Have you not ever heard of insurance policy being cashed out?
You mean
Or
like
folk pulling money out the insurance policy? I didn't heard of that.
they do
I
have
need to
it?
get more
It
familiar.
just depends on
I'm
the
ignorant.
policy that you get, and if you want to. People do that all the time, but term normally means like we got insurance and it covers us till we're 65. And then at 65, we got to redo it. You see what I'm saying? Like that
Okay,
type of
okay.
term. Or you got it, on the boys, and then when they turn 35, I need to, you know what I'm saying?
Switch
so,
it over.
yeah, and a lot of times that's why it's cheaper, because it's only for that time period. So if they die within between 20 and 35, they straight. But after 35, I ain't renewed it. If I ain't did, so.
Yeah.
But whole, if you get it, you want to, have it for the whole lifespan. And it stay the same, and if things change, that type of stuff. So
Yeah, the old
But yeah, you
mindset
can
just
cash
wanted
out.
to think in hustle. I just wanted to.
yeah, you can cash
And we gotta
out.
stop
You
thinking
can-
like that.
You can borrow out of it. You can the insurance policy. You can do all of that depending on what you signed up for. Yeah. Now, when my grandmother passed, because she was paying on insurance for me, my brothers, and this and that, whatever she paid on, we was able to get the money from it.
A percentage of it. There's
A
no way that
percentage.
you got
I was a
it.
child. I just know I got some money when my grandma died
Yeah.
from my insurance policy.
And I think my aunts and uncles, when my great grandmother passed, I think they took their policies and cashed me in too. But I don't know. That was in the 90s. I don't even know how they work, because
I mean, we don't want
I need to be more
try
informed
to go into the mindset of not wanting to just pay for it and not take from it.
and pretend it ain't even there.
Yeah, that part. Just pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Automatic recurring payments straight out of your ACH, AHC, whatever it is. Yeah. Automatic checking account, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that's major, guys.
That's major.
Check out this video right here. Yeah.